Hey, TNT! The 40th anniversary of Star Wars was Thursday, not Tuesday.
How long is this going to take?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And, we're tired.
Yep.
There's movie and TV news and stuff like that, but we don't give a shit because we spent 4 days at Phoenix Comic Con and we want to talk about everything that we saw, we got to do, people we got to meet, all that kind of stuff. Because it's con and con's fun, right?
Yeah.
Till we get home
4 whole days of our life
and sleep for 15 hours. There might have been some drinking and some walking and some drinking and walking
and food
and some shopping. First off, we have to go over the drama that happened. We were actually on site on Thursday afternoon, and we were actually on site when a gentleman with guns was trying to shoot, kill, attack, whatever, police officers and Jason David Frank.
The Green Power
Ranger. And luckily they got tipped off and the officers were able to subdue him without any incident. But because of that, all hell broke loose. First off, let's talk about, you're so wrapped up in whatever that you feel like you can be this guy and ruin everybody else's fun. And really that's what it came down to. He will spend time in jail, rightfully so, and hopefully get all of the help that he needs, rightfully so. But the rest of us who were there for the next 4 days had to deal with him being a fuckstick. And that's about as far as I can go with that. There's nothing else really out for it other than he thought he was a Punisher. I don't think that was true. Because of that, though, the organizers of the con, the convention center, and the police department got together and they formed a new policy. And the initial news was that all props would be banned from the con, and that policy would go in effect first thing Friday morning. Then an official statement came out with some more clarification on things that cannot be brought in. Weapons, no fake weapons, no artificial weapons, no foam edge weapons, lightsabers, that kind of stuff was not allowed in. You could bring in like sonic screwdrivers or a proton pack as long as the handle was not attached
or permanently
attached. So I'm not really sure how that works. And then they made a point of saying other things, that stuff that was for your costume and stuff, but no weapons, no artificial looking weapons. And that they would also have 3 entry points, and they would be checking everybody who came through the door. Now, we've talked about this for a long time, about how easy it is to get in and out of Phoenix Comic Con. So actually one of the reasons why we like going to Phoenix Comic Con is because it's kind of a free flow, open area.
Come in, go out,
go where you want, that kind of thing. And we were always quite surprised about how easy it was with very little check. Now, I also like to point out this is the first year they actually hired security, and this is the first year we had a problem. Just saying.
But we got in on Thursday to get our badges, and nobody looked at our bags. Nobody.
Yeah.
I mean, we walked.
They just let us through.
We walked right in.
Right.
So,
but then on Friday they did 3 entries, full wand downs, and bag checks. The problem with that was at least the 2 of the entrances that we went to, there were 7 total people doing all of that for whatever. We ended up coming on Friday, which was 30 or 40,000 people or whatever. I never heard an official number. I'm going to keep making it bigger. By the end of next week, it'll be like 1 million people. So we ended up being in line outside for 2.5 hours. I don't have a problem with being out in the heat. I work outside for a living. And we try to stay in shape. Round's a shape, right?
Round is a shape.
We try to stay in shape and active and stuff like that, so the heat really didn't bother us. And some of the sections that we were in, a lot of it was in the shade. They did bring water out to us a couple different times. And so we shared the water with everybody. We got to know the people in the line around us and shared all of our contact information. It was a very kumbaya bonding moment.
Hashtag LineCon.
Hashtag line moo moo.
Hashtag moo moo.
We had a couple people succumb to the heat, unfortunately. And then they finally just decided, this doing a super check on every bag and every person on the way in is really ruining everything. And because of that, they actually started like rushing everybody through. We had a guy from security with a wand, and he was just going through and quick wanding everybody while in line. And all of a sudden, everybody, it's really easy to get in. I don't understand why this could happen in the first place.
We went from it's going to be another hour at least to
I can't keep up with the line.
We can't keep up with the line
because everybody's running in. Yeah. We unfortunately missed the first half of the Danny Trejo panel. And the Curtis Armstrong panel, although Curtis Armstrong was kind of one of those, if we make it cool, but Danny Trejo was the one we really wanted to go to. And then because of the weapons policies, they asked all the vendors to wrap everything up, put it in plastic bags, put it in a box, encourage people to take it back to their cars or their hotel rooms or whatever. And there was one vendor who was selling lightsabers. They go by Ultra Saber, who really didn't like that policy.
Chose not to follow along.
And so they had a disagreement with the guy who runs the con, Matt Solberg, and then the convention center itself, and they all got together and they asked them to leave by the end of business on Friday. Saturday morning, we wake up to Facebook posts on the Blue Ribbon Army page of a flyer that Ultra Saber had who had distributed to all of the vendors.
They apparently got a hold of a badge
from someone
and got back in,
and it was pretty flyers. Damning of Matt Solberg directly, but it was also they can't do this and we're not getting a refund and all this other stuff. And it ended up coming out that they did get a refund. It was in conjunction with PD and the convention center and the convention itself. So people were just being douchebags. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you can say what you want about Matt Solberg, but who probably didn't handle it the best from some of the things that we saw. But
yeah,
I'm sorry, when the police department tells you that you need to do it, you need to do it.
You need to do it. That's how it is. So that was kind of the drama that went on, and good or bad, it ended up getting much better as the weekend went along. They had more people, more security, more checkpoints, that kind of thing, and we'll talk about it as we go through our kind of a rundown of the weekend. But that was kind of the big thing that was in the news. It was all over the place. Yeah. Ruined a lot of people's fun. A lot of people asked for refunds on their rooms in the con. They missed a good time. They
did. A lot of people actually turned the whole thing around, and we saw lots of people with signs. Guy had, signs taped to his arms that said, cool shield goes here and awesome helmet here.
Yeah, he was awesome.
And then Stormtrooper with a sign on his back that said, I can't hit anything, so the Empire took my gun away.
Yeah.
And everybody came up with really fun ways to kind of work around
Everybody kind of worked around it. And those who were there for the con to have the fun of the con were able to get over it. And those people who were emotional about every little thing happening wasn't able to. And that's unfortunate for them because they missed a really, really good time. And some really awesome panels. And apparently we missed a bunch of the extra panels. We'll get into that in a minute too. So that's the drama that went on. So here's the big rundown. Now, in the past on my personal Facebook page, what I end up doing is I take the day and I write in day, and then I just write like 1 or 2 word synopsis of a thing and just do one run-on sentence with some commas about the whole day. And so we're going to kind of do that with a little more description.
Okay.
Because 1 or 2 sentences would be not really worth it. So Thursday, we get off work finally. That was the longest day of work ever.
Yes.
And I left early to go do some running around. I got home and took a nap, which was a good thing because I was done by the end of the day. We stay at the Sheraton. we like the Sheraton. It's in the sphere of influence of the con, but not so close that you're in with everybody being crazy, and the fire alarm doesn't go off at least once during the con.
Apparently.
That's the Hyatt. And so we got checked in, and we're walking over, and we ran into Robin. Robin is a new Facebook friend of ours, and he's been kind of helping us get some of the minutia of running a page. We're helping us with our hashtags and giving us some information about doing some marketing and stuff like that. And so he was really been helpful. We've been talking back and forth. We ran into him just really random.
Yeah, walked out of the hotel and he was right there.
Got our badges really easy this year because a lot of people got their badges early on, which was nice. I think we spent maybe 10 minutes in line, maybe. And most of that was talking to friends of ours who had fast passes already. Thanks, Ivan. The badges this year, I was going to bring one of the badges in. The badges this year were really, really pretty. They were done by a gentleman by the name of Travis Hansen. He also did the book artwork.
Cover.
Was really, really cool. I'm going to try to throw some pictures up of stuff as we up here when we do the edit. And so if it pops up all of a sudden, that's what it looks like. And they were cool too because on the backside it had all of the times of when things open. So like the exhibitor hall and panel rooms and stuff like that. And they were like serious, and we got really cool lanyards and stuff like that we don't end up using because we have our Doctor Who ones. And then we walked the floor for a few minutes, which was, just kind of get a lay of the land, which is what we end up doing normally on Thursdays. And then I was going to eat somebody.
And I was the closest thing to him.
Yes. So we went to a restaurant downtown called Seamus McCaffrey's. It's a Irish pub. My wife got fish and shrimp, not chips, although there was chips on the table. And we drank Guinness and did a Hugh Hefner flight of whiskey and just had a really good evening. Actually, there's a picture of us with it says Hugh Hefner on our bill. On the bill. It was really cool. And so we were like, okay, so it was like 6 o'clock or whatever. And the hall was staying open till 9 that night, I believe.
Yeah, it was later.
Later that night because it didn't open till 4. And so it might have been about 7 when we got done with dinner. And so we decided we get nothing else better to do. Let's go shopping. And so we went back and we went on the exhibitor floor. This year there was 2 floors. There was the exhibitor floor, which was the lower level, and then the upper level, which was floor 3, was called the Hall of Heroes. And they had a bunch of vendors up there too. So we were kind of walking around, and we found the Del Rey booth. They have a whole bunch of books, and there's this display of all these new books that are coming out on the Star Wars stuff, and one of them was of Timothy Zahn. And the guy's like, you're interested in the books? And I'm like, I'm interested in the books. Reader, not a reader. And we looked around the corner, and Timothy Zahn was sitting at the booth, and there was like 2 people in line. So I geeked out for a minute and walked over and got in line and got a first edition signed book, Heir to the Empire, and a signed poster of the cover of Thrawn, and then proceeded to squeal like a little girl.
Yes.
And then we went to Dunkirk, had a trailer that they were doing a 5-minute segment from the movie.
They had a trailer in a trailer.
Malkovich. And so we were not going to do it. And the guy's like, it takes 5 minutes and we're done. And there's plenty of seating and there's nobody in line. Okay. So we went and sat down and they had speakers in the chairs and they showed this 5-minute segment from the movie. And it was amazing.
I was like, wait, I don't want it to be over. I want to continue to watch this. But
now, I want to point out that we've been having this conversation about Dunkirk for a while. And she's not really sure about wanting to see it. I've been all over seeing it since the first trailer I saw. History junkie, that kind of thing. Now she saw it, she's like,
I want to see this movie.
Yeah, so
yes.
IMAX.
Yes.
IMAX.
Yes.
And then, so that was awesome. We leave the Dunkirk trailer, and we walk back down to the Sheraton. It's very nice on Thursday night. We get to the hotel. A bunch of our friends stay at the Sheraton. They're our con friends. They're having a party in the lobby. we're like, hey, let's go we're gonna go to our room. We're gonna get some drinks. We walk over to our elevator, and my wife's busy on her phone, looking at Amazon Eats.
Yeah, maybe.
I think it was Amazon Eats. And I start kicking her in the shin. Hey, girl. She's like, what? Ow! Danny Trejo's dinner right there. And she's like, what? Danny Trejo is standing right
look,
there.
there's Danny Trejo.
So we all get on the elevator together, and it's Danny Trejo and his entourage, another couple, and us. And Danny Trejo's in our hotel, in our elevator. We get in the elevator, the door closed, and we all and I think I might have said it. I'm going to run with it until somebody tells me differently. You're stuck on the elevator. You have to take pictures with all of us. And Danny's
like, okay, cool.
And so I have a selfie, and you can see that it was really cool. I had to squat down because and it was just really cool to have him be like so awesome, and being able to do that. Anything else that happened on Thursday? It kind of.
No, I think that was it.
That was it.
Yeah.
Kind of a late day.
There was a lot of traffic getting into the Sheraton. You had to deposit me on the street corner and
then go find a place to park because we couldn't get in.
and then come back and grab all the stuff.
Yeah. But, we got to work on that. Either go earlier in the day or not during rush hour or something.
I don't know.
We got to do something. Friday, we woke up and took a walk down to Matt's Big Breakfast. It's about a 10-minute walk from the Sheraton. Completely worth it, although the walk there was longer than the walk back.
Yes.
Same exact path. Not really sure how that all worked.
Hungry, hungover, food now.
Yeah. Sat at the bar, had a really good breakfast. Then we went and stood in line for 2.5 hours. Actually, we were in line so long that I stood in line. She walked back to the hotel and got us waters and provisions and sunscreen.
Because I only sprayed my face, not my arms and my legs.
Because we thought we were going to be in line for a little while, but we didn't expect 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And so I hung out in line and just interacted with everybody. We had a really good time. As you can for being stuck in a line in the sun in Arizona in Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. I mean, most people were, not happy, but dealing with it, not,
Yeah.
We had one guy who was parading around, sue them, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Stop talking. You're not. Nobody's listening to you, including your girlfriend, whatever she was. And they were in really weird cosplay that I'm not. And they were in even weirder cosplay. They were in never mind. But we did get the chance to get to the second half of the Danny Trejo panel. How was Danny?
He was awesome. I wish we'd have gotten to see the whole thing, but
Yeah.
he was exactly the same there as he was in the elevator.
Yeah.
Just like super personable, and there was a dog, and somebody had brought in a dog in a cart and dressed in a Wonder Woman
Supergirl. Superwoman. Supergirl woman
whatever,
thingy.
outfit, and he could not stop. he kept calling it and all this, and finally he just stopped the whole panel and jumped down off the stage.
73, he runs over and jumps off the stage, squats down, takes a bunch of photos.
Takes a bunch of pictures, but none of us can actually see what's going on because the cameras can't get down there to where he is, and so finally one of his kids, who's like his handlers, I guess, kind of came over and got him back
there's
up.
other people in this room that want to see you.
Got back up on and he still kept, oh, puppy.
He was awesome. He was so much fun, just being there and
we learned, if you want
Yes, that's
Danny
where I was
Trejo to be in your movie, you need to pay him a lot of money. He gets his company gets 10 scripts a week. They whittle it down to 3, and he says which one pays the best, and then that's the one he takes.
Yes, and he was just. It was just funny, like how flippant he was. Not like in a bad way, but he's just like, I'm getting paid to do this as a hobby. Like what I really want to do is talk to kids in prison who are in trouble and whatever, and trying to help them make a better life. And somebody's paying me to be on TV. Like I'm a full-on gangster. He pulls his shirt up, and you can see the tattoo on his shirt. And like he was just like, oh, this is awesome. And we were there for 25 minutes or whatever.
Yeah.
It was totally worth it. We left him, went and walked around. On Thursday, one of the things that we did come across on the floor was there was a huge con man booth. I know I say huge because it's not like, superhero stuff or whatever kind of huge, but it was 2 big tables, 2 big squares, and they had everything. And PJ Harsma was actually in the booth a bunch, and he's one of the 3 guys who actually put Con Man the series together. It's PJ, it's Alan Tudyk's idea, and then Nathan Fillion were the 3 of them who put it together. There's stories about how they did it all over the place, but they were getting drunk in Nathan's living room and talked about this, and it became a TV show. So he was in the booth a bunch, and then we went back down to the floor on Friday after the Danny Trejo panel and went to the booth and talked to PJ for quite a while about there's a app game on our phone that we play 4, 5, or 6 times a day. And it's a kind of a sim-based game where you get to build your own con, and you have to deal with all the stuff that bringing in VIPs, and you got to do the whole taking care, like clean up the trash and clean up the bathrooms, and then aliens attack, and like it's a really fun, simple game. So we talked to PJ about the expansion that's coming. They're moving it to Facebook. They're going to have a whole bunch of extra things that you could do now. You can sell and buy stuff for your con and make it better. Each floor is going to be a day. And so they'll have like a sci-fi floor, and then a horror floor, and then a superhero floor. And each day, as you go along, you'll be working on that floor and stuff. So really cool expansion coming. It won like Game of the Year for like phone apps at the Game Expo last year. So
cool.
Really, really fun. Spent some time on the floor. Decided to go to the Star Trek Continues panel. We actually got to watch this episode before, but they actually did another showing of the episode, and Vic was there. Vic always loves coming to Phoenix Comic Con, and last week's episode we had the premiere one they did last time, and everybody signed the movie poster. This time it was just the 2 of them from the cast and some art direction people. But the episode's really fun. Better the second time?
Sure. Wasn't my favorite episode. So
okay,
whatever.
I get that. And then they did it. We're gonna do a full-on Q&A, and we needed to leave because I was eating the chair. Not her this time. Chair.
But it was my chair.
Back to Seamus McCaffrey's, because Irish. And then we wanted to make a point of going to this panel. There was a bunch of different panels about podcasting and broadcasting online and YouTube channels and stuff like that we always wanted to try to get to. We got to 2 of them. And the one we went to on Friday evening, was the Film Threat podcast. They did a live panel, and was the host of Chris Gore. Now, Chris Gore was on Attack of the Show back in the day, and then John Schnepp is a friend of his who's on Collider. He did stuff for Metalopolis. He did a documentary about the Superman Lives not being made and stuff. And they did porn.
I don't know what it was supposed to be, but but he did the thing he used to do on Attack of the Show, right? Yeah. Where he would take a DVD and show them the cover and read the synopsis, and then they were supposed to guess or discuss what the movie was about. They hadn't seen it, whatever. Right. And these apparently were movies that were in his collection.
Stuff that he's bought or been given. I don't know.
Yeah. But the titles were Santa Claus, the Serial Rapist, Dick Shark, Dick Hole, Ant Farm.
That one, I have questions
We're
about
like,
that one.
These are porn movies, right? He's like, no, I swear they're not porn movies. Okay.
He would he had a stack like 10 or 15 of them, whatever. He'd pull it out and he'd show it to the panel, and then they'd talk about it, and then he'd throw it in the crowd. And so it was a full interactive panel.
You had to actually interact, or you hit in the head.
Yeah, one actually bounced off the row in front of us. We were in the very back row. Bounced off the row in front of us, bounced off my hands, hit the door. So it was just a like symbol of nobody wants this movie, is trying to leave. That was probably one of my top 3 panels we went to, and is nothing what I thought it was going to be.
No.
And that's fine. That's why you kind of. This was the first year we actually got to go to some of the smaller panels. That room was full.
Yes.
And a lot of fun. I got a sticker and stuff. It was just totally worth it. So we decided, let's go back to the hotel. It was late. The exhibitor hall had closed already. They did leave it open till 8:30 instead of closing at 7 on Friday because of all the issues of getting in. We did talk to a couple of vendors who weren't really happy with that, but they were trying to make up for it as much as they could. And so, although at that point in time it was really nice because we could walk around without having to bump into 15,000 people.
Yeah, it was.
So we're walking back to the hotel, and we wore our Pop Culture Cult shirts and did some advertising all day, giving out bags and business cards and stuff like that. And if you're new to the show, welcome. And so we're walking back past the Dunkirk trailer, and there's this couple filming, and we go walking by, and I'm like, wait a minute, and I turn around, and it's Robert and Vanessa from Late to the Party. And I've been trying to track them down for a while. I've been talking to them via Twitter. So we stopped and talked to them for a while, and they are staying at the Sheraton with us, and so we walked back, and we had a really good conversation. It was kind of fun to actually talk to somebody else who kind of does the same thing that we do. They just have a few more followers.
One or two.
And then drinks in the lobby and bed early. Saturday, we got up. The lines, everything was way shorter. We went over to Fun Einstein's bagels and
in the Hyatt.
Did you like how they have it all decorated in there?
Oh yeah, it's fun. I kind of wish the Sheraton would do something like that.
So Sheraton's a little bit higher end, but I don't know. We cosplayed on Saturday, at least for a little while. I did the 12th Doctor, Peter Capaldi's Doctor. She went as River Song from the astronaut episode. She had jeans and a holster for her sonic screwdriver because no weapons, right? And the book and everything. We walked around. We met up with our kids who were in line for an hour and change to go see Ryan Hurst. We have a friend of ours who works in guest relations. Hi, Carrie. And she was in charge of Ryan, and Ryan apparently had a really good time.
Something was going on. He was a little late.
Way late.
To the panel. Or to the signing. And our daughter got to hug him. That made her day.
Yeah.
Made her month. I don't know.
And she saw Alden.
Yeah, I think she got to talk to Alden Henson. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was it was cool for them. We finally all met up. We went to the Con Man panel. Full house for the Con Man panel.
Everybody was freaking out in line because Dick Van Dyke was letting out as we were trying to get in, and so
yeah.
It was and I get a little claustrophobic with big crowds, so I was having to kind of look out the window, but the people next to us were like, we're not going to get in, there's not going to be enough. And I'm like, look, the last Con-Man panel we went to was in it was in 301A.
Yeah.
We were in 301B, C, and D. And it wasn't full. So it's fine. It's fine. There'll be plenty of seating. And there was, but it
filled up.
It was about half full by the time we got in.
Yeah,
there.
and I have a picture of it. I'll share it, but it's full on. It was.
I think Alan had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, Alan brought a bag out. He normally brings stuff from home to sign and give away to people who ask questions, and he forgot it at home, and so he grabbed some stuff from the Con Man booth, and then
land menus, some menus from whatever cross services. You get bread hummus and paper plates,
and paper plates,
and then he signed a plastic water glass and filled it full of water and gave it to the guy. We're all like, you better drink that fast because it's gonna start.
It was fun.
Running.
And they showed a trailer for season 2, which we've already watched, but that's okay. We'll watch it again. And then they showed something else. Oh, the bloopers.
Well, and the thing for the game.
Oh, and the thing for the game, which again we already play, which is fine. Really fun Q&A with them. Just them signing everything and whatever. We left. We went down to the. They have a beer and barbecue tent. We went down there and had lunch down there. Was that the day before? I don't know. It's all running together. Anyways, we
Stick to the script.
we decided to go back to the room and change because boots are not made for walking. And so we had lunch and a nap and a shower and a beer and refreshed, and we went back and did a full-on we're actually going shopping thing. And just spent a lot of time just kind of walking the floor and looking at different things. We decided that night to go to a new restaurant, for us at least, downtown. It's down next to Matt's Big Breakfast, and it's called Angel's Trumpet Ale House. You walk in, it's concrete floors, metal chairs, wood tables, 35 taps on the wall, like 4 or 5 of them were wine on tap.
Yeah, at least.
We sat on the patio. They were playing cornhole behind us, and just really, really good food.
Really good food. Good giant beer selection.
Yeah, and
decent prices.
yeah,
So
it was not bad at all.
if you're in downtown Phoenix, go to Angel's Trumpet Ale House.
Film bars right across the street. That's a really cool art house film theater, and then Cobra Arcade is right next door, and they're all right there across the street from each
So
other.
you can dinner and a movie, and then play some games.
Play some games. And as we're walking out, Robert and Vanessa are standing by the door, freaking stalking us. So we go back to the hotel, change, because we decided this year to do the big party.
Yep.
And it's called The Blue Ribbon Army Presents The Dork Knight Rises. And they had a DJ and bars everywhere and plenty of seating with tables and a tic-tac-toe tournament.
Apparently, yeah, they had butcher paper on some of the tables and crayons, and so yeah, we were tagging with Pop Culture Cult on one of the tables, and they were doing a tic-tac-toe tournament behind us. So
we just kind of hung out, and I drank some whiskey and had some beers,
drank some vodka.
And it was fun. A lot of people in cosplay or some kind of costume or whatever, but we really didn't know anybody there. So it was just the two of us, and although we love spending time with each other, and a thing like that, you really want to be there with a bunch of your friends and dancing and having a good time and stuff like that. And not that we didn't have a good time, we just didn't know a lot of people there. So worth it. The money goes to Kids Need to Read, so it was totally worth it. We went back to the hotel, hung out for a little while, and went to bed at like 2.
2, yeah.
Sunday was a very late start.
Yes, and then we must seek food.
So we went and found food. We missed the Alan Tudyk panel because of it. I'm sad.
I'm sad too, but sleeping and food was more important.
It was. And they decided to put him at 10:30 on Sunday morning.
Yeah. Well,
What are you doing to us? Getting our stuff from the room to the car. Getting our stuff from the room, go get the car, put our stuff in the car, go take the car, go park it again, was a giant fiasco on Sunday. We need to get some better way of doing that.
Sure,
yeah, all right. But we did make it in time for the Karen Gillian panel on Sunday. She was only here on Sunday this year. There was no line when we got to the front door. We've got decent seats. Actually, we made it in the room. The room was
almost full.
98% full. I think there was 2 empty seats in front of us. She was fun and engaging and nice and zipped through the questions, and she's definitely a con veteran. Yes.
I would say that her and Alex Kingston, no, her and Eve Miles.
Eve Miles was awesome last
Eve
year.
Miles is my all-time, so
she was
far,
amazing.
top Doctor Who torch. I mean, she was in Doctor Who, but panelist. But then I would say that Karen was second. And we've seen Billy Piper and Alex Kingston too. So
And then we saw Strax and
Strax and Lizard
chick. Why can we not remember her name?
They were good.
They were good last year too.
But they both have super heavy accents.
Yeah.
And it was a little hard to follow along with them sometimes.
Yeah. But Karen was really a lot of fun, and she talked about Guardians and the filming and everything that she had to do with Guardians and a lot of Doctor Who stuff, obviously. And then she talked about the Circle, which we were wondering if anybody was going to talk about the Circle.
Yeah, somebody asked her a question.
And
then she sang Frank Sinatra. Was it My Way? She sang Frank Sinatra as Britney Spears. It was awesome.
Strangely correct. That has to happen at some point in time in the future, right? If she gets a little bit bigger, maybe in an SNL skit where she we decided after that to go to this panel on broadcasting on Twitch. It was a broadcasting 101 class panel. There was several different types of people on the panel who all do live broadcasting on Twitch. A lot of it was gaming stuff, but there's also some creating kind of stuff. Interesting, not for us.
No, there was a couple of a couple of things that they said that it was like, oh yeah, that's happened to us, and so that was kind of good to get a little validation there. But now we know. We've had several friends say you need to do Twitch. No, Twitch is
just not what we're doing. If we did more gaming talk, or if we did gaming itself, or that would probably be the place to go. But we're talking movies and TVs and cons, so not really our thing. We'll continue to look into it, but probably not our thing. We went back to the floor, one last shopping trip, and we got shirts. We got our new shirts. These are ones that we got. We got other ones too, but this is The Walking Dead on Abbey Road, and this is Lucille's Diner. Which is so wrong. They're from Tino Evil. They're from LA. We got turned on to them, and we went by their booth a couple times, and then we went by Sunday, and we're like, that's it, we're buying shirts. And we talked to the guys. They were really, really awesome to us. We're gonna try to keep in touch with them. We might maybe have them do some shirt designs for us, since neither one of us can draw. We can be artistic, but
we can draw little stick figures.
Stick figures, and it's not what we're looking for. So we probably have them do something for us, and it was fun spending some time with them. Okay, we're out of money. What do you want to do? Well, there's one panel left. Let's go to John Bernthal and Eldon Henson, and we probably could have left early.
It was interesting. There's a couple people, we've heard some other folks talk about their panels and stuff, and one person was saying that Eldon seemed bored, and I felt bad. It should have been just Eldon. That would have been great.
Eldon in a small room would have been fun.
Yeah,
would have been a lot of fun.
And John Bernthal was like, he didn't know how to answer the questions, or people were just asking him a lot of really dumb Walking
Dead questions. So it's really hard to answer those.
Where would you be now if you were still in The Walking Dead? And he had already said, I'm not up on what's going on with The Walking Dead. So we could have skipped that one.
And they both looked really tired because it was the last thing of a long weekend. They had both been there since Friday. The one cool thing is there was a picture. We got a picture of Eldon, John, and John's daughter on his lap.
Yeah.
And so it was really cute. That was, it was cool, it was fun, but it was time to go. And so we left. Overall, even with the bullshit, did you have a good time?
I did. If they had not course corrected quickly on Saturday or on Friday, it probably would have been a very different story.
Yeah.
But that's what I was hoping. I knew it was going to be a cluster. I knew it was going to be bad Friday morning because they weren't going to plan for it. And but they did figure it out, and the rest of the con went.
One of the things we talked about was I'm never going to be upset with them trying to keep us safe. What I am going to be upset about is how they planned on keeping us safe. And 7 people is not enough for as many people that went through the door.
No.
And even if you had to hire extra PD or call in the National Guard, I don't know what you had to do to get more people in. On Friday, you had 12 hours to get it figured out.
Yeah.
Now, by the time we got to Saturday, they had end of line signs and they had more people swiping everybody through. So that was fun. Some other things that kind of happened, we're just gonna some extras that we kind of whatever. I love seeing the cosplays.
Yep.
And I love people who are comfortable enough in their skin to cosplay a character that may not necessarily be their persona. We saw male slave Leias. We saw heavy-set people playing characters. We saw super skinny people playing, big, huge characters. And just all, just because you're black doesn't mean you can't be a Disney princess or, whatever it was, And so it's just always fun to see the different cosplays. Listen, we're experienced peoples in our life. And I won't call us older, but we're experienced people in our lives, and there's some things that we just don't know. We don't know anime. Not interested in anime. I can point out anime. I think it's an anime character. That's about as best as I can do. And there's some video game characters that we just, again, we're not super video game people, so there were some characters that... And when they don't have their weapons...
Yeah.
it kind of takes away from the... but overall, I really love... And the cosplay here is so awesome. There's some really, really good artists this year. Obviously, we got some stuff. We're wearing some stuff. And then there's some not so great artists. Good on you. I hope you made some money. The people watching is always amazing at Comic-Con. That's actually probably the first thing that actually draws us to Comic-Con is actually just sit around and watch the people.
Yeah.
We actually were walking on the floor at one point in time, and I said, I don't know where to look. And she's like, what? I'm like, do I look in the booths? Do I watch the people? Do I look for the cosplays? Do I get my phone out? I don't know where to look.
I actually figured that out. So on Saturday, I was looking at all the booths. I was like looking at stuff and everything. And then on Sunday, I was looking at all the people. I probably did that backwards. I probably should have done the booths on Sunday, but I was just looking at people all day on Sunday.
Yeah,
so
it's a lot of fun. We ran into a lot of people that we've been wanting to catch up with. We met Derek from Talking Comic-Con. They're Talking Comic-Con is one of the local groups. We ran into them, got to talk to Derek for a little bit. They were busy getting ready for the Dick Van Dyke panel, so we didn't get to spend a whole lot of time with them. Robert and Vanessa. We met Shane and Mike from Buttermilk Mike. They had a booth. They just started a podcast within the last 3 months. Awesome guys. They talk a lot of gaming and stuff, but that was cool. The Tino Evil guys, they were awesome. I listened to I want to end with this because I think this is kind of important. There's a couple from LA, and their podcast is called Parks and Cons, and they do a lot of stuff in the LA area because, well, there is a lot of stuff in the LA area, and they talk about amusement parks and haunted attractions and haunted houses and all that stuff, and the cons. And I listened to their podcast about Phoenix Comic-Con. They went to a bunch of panels, and they talked about how Phoenix is equivalent in size of the San Diego Comic-Con. Now, San Diego's is gigantic, huge. I wouldn't even call it a con anymore. It's a marketing tool. But they were discussing about how there's so much stuff to do around the con, and there's so much stuff to do at the con that you have to make a choice between A and B, right? And they were saying that in the size of Phoenix Comic-Con is very comparable with all the stuff that's going on at the Hyatt and the Renaissance and in the convention center itself and the 2 floors for the exhibitors and all the panels and all the celebrity guests and all the signings and blah, 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 blah. And I want to bring that up because there was some complaining of how things were handled, which can be expected. People were frustrated. But also some people were complaining about how can I miss A because I want to go to B. That's choices in life, people.
Wait, let us do everything for you.
Do you want... I don't want to end on like a sour note or anything, but I just want to point out to people that, hey, making choices is part of your life decisions in your life. And sometimes you have to miss something because you need to choose something else. And do you want this con to be 3 guests and 1 panel per hour? And I don't know what you want. And so just a reminder, just to say, we're really, 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 really spoiled here. It was $45 for 4 days of a panel-filled, party-filled, shopping-filled weekend in Phoenix, in your backyard. And a lot of people come from from LA, from Salt Lake, from Vegas to come here to either cover it or be here for part of it. It's cool. It's cool. Be blessed. It's cheap. It's easy to get in. It's easy to get out. Even with all the bullshit, it was awesome.
It was.
So what do you guys think? It's our rundown of Phoenix Comic-Con. Did we miss something? Did you guys see something? Well, we missed a lot. There was a lot of stuff. There were some stuff like, I want to go to this. Or I can sit on the couch for a few more minutes. So if there was something we missed that you want to talk about, leave us a comment. Like this video. Tell us what was something that you saw that you liked, or maybe something you didn't like. Was there a cosplay you liked? Or whatever. Interact with us. You can get a hold of us on Facebook at the Pop Culture Cult. We're Pop Culture Cult 1 on Instagram, and we're at Pop_Cult1 on the Twitters. Please like, subscribe to all of our channels, but specifically here on the YouTube channel. Subscribe to our channel, build our fan base, because we want to talk to people.
Yes.
Or my wife would like me to talk to somebody else. And until next time, good night now.